How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, April 17th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I am going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Saturday, April 16th, and of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today. Before I do that, I'm going to take a quick step back and look at where we are in the 2022 calendar year. As we are in the first round of the NBA playoffs, there are still 16 teams competing for about the next week and a half or so. And taking a look at what's going on in the MLB season for 2022 is just getting underway. As teams they're still within their first 10 games of the season. Not to mention that looking out at soccer, we are in yet another weekend as we are about a month away from the end of European soccer seasons. Not to mention that at the end of the month, the NHL season should be over and the Stanley Cup playoffs should be starting momentarily. With that said, I'm going to start with what happened yesterday in the NBA, starting with the very first game one of the day, looking at the 4-5 series in the West. The 4-seed Dallas Mavericks would host the 5-seed Utah Jazz after the Dallas Mavericks finished with 3 more wins in the season. The Jazz would end up beating the Mavericks for game 1 by 6. They won in 99-93 after they outscored the Mavericks by 5 in the second quarter and then by 6 in the third, by 11 in the middle 2 quarters. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Dallas Mavericks were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Villanova, Jalen Brunson. He finished with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in 41 minutes. He shot 9 for 24 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their starting point guard, Spencer Dinwiddie, finished with 22 points and 8 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 6 for 15 from the field. The Mavericks small forward, Reggie Bullock, would finish with 15 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 44 minutes. Their starting power forward, Dorian Finney-Smith, finished with 14 points, 5 rebounds, and a couple of blocks in 44 minutes as he shot 4 for 7 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and he would make all 4 of his free throws. And then their power forward off the bench, Maxi Kleber, would finish with 10 points in 24 minutes. He shot 2 for 7 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and he made all 4 of his free throws. On the winning end of this matchup, the Utah Jazz, the 5 seed, were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard out of Louisville, Donovan Mitchell. He finished with 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in 42 minutes. He shot 10 for 29 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and 10 for 11 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Bojan Bogdanovic, finished with 26 points and 5 rebounds in 40 minutes. He shot 11 for 20 from the field, and he would also go on to make both of his free throws on the night. Their starting point guard and former All-Star Mike Conley finished with 13 points and 6 rebounds in 35 minutes. Their point guard off the bench and former Sixth Man of the Year, Jordan Clarkson, finished with 10 points in 20 minutes. Their elite starting center, Rudy Gobert, would finish with 5 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks in 35 minutes. All 5 of his points came from the free throw line as he was 5 for 6. He was 0 for 1 from the field on the night. With this win, the 5-seed Utah Jazz now lead this series 1-0. Game 2 of this matchup will be taking place in Dallas. It will be tomorrow at 8:30 on NBA TV. Taking a look at the second game one that was taking place last night in the 2-7 series in the West, the 2-seed Memphis Grizzlies hosted the 7-seed Minnesota Timberwolves after the Minnesota Timberwolves won their 7-seed game against the Los Angeles Clippers. The Timberwolves would beat the Grizzlies for game 1 as they would win it 130-117. They won this game they won it by 13 at the end of the day after outscoring Memphis by 8 in the fourth quarter, by 10 in the second half, to, of course, make the most of their 3-point lead that they had at halftime. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Grizzlies were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Ja Morant. In his very first playoff game, Ja Morant would finish with 32 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists in 35 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field and 16 for 20 from the free throw line. The Grizzlies starting small forward, Dillon Brooks out of Oregon, finished with 24 points in 35 minutes. He shot 7 for 14 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and he shot 7 for 10 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Desmond Bane, finished with 17 points in 33 minutes. Their power forward off the bench, Brandon Clark, finished with 13 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 steals in 27 minutes. He shot 6 for 7 from the field for himself. And then their starting power forward, Jaren Jackson Jr. out of Michigan State, would finish with 12 points and 7 blocks in 24 minutes. On the winning end of this matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward, Anthony Edwards out of Georgia. The second-year player in his first playoff game would finish with 36 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 blocks in 40 minutes. He shot 12 for 23 from the field, 4 for 11 from 3, and he made all 8 of his free throws. Their elite starting center out of Kentucky, Karl Anthony Towns, finished with 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 assists in 43 minutes. He shot 11 for 18 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throws. Their shooting guard off the bench, Malik Beasley out of Florida State, finished with 23 points and 5 rebounds in 30 minutes. He shot 8 for 14 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their power forward off the bench, Jaden McDaniels, finished with 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks in 25 minutes. Their starting point guard, Patrick Beverly, finished with 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in 28 minutes as he went on to shoot 4 for 8 from the field and 2 for 5 from 3. Their starting point guard, D'Angelo Russell, finished with 10 points and 9 assists in 29 minutes. He would go on to shoot 2 for 11 from the field, and he made all 5 of his free throws. With this win, the 7-seed Minnesota Timberwolves now lead this series 1-0 over the 2-seed Memphis Grizzlies. Game 2 of this matchup will be played in Memphis. Game 2 will be played on the 19th on Tuesday at 8:30 on NBA TV. Taking a look at the third game that happened yesterday in Philadelphia, the 4-seed in the East, the 76ers, would host the 5-seed Toronto Raptors. In Game 1, the Sixers would win it 131-111. They won it by 20 after outscoring the Raptors by 8 in the first quarter and then by 10 in the second. They were up by 18 at the half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Toronto Raptors were led in scoring by their starting power forward, Pascal Siakam. He finished with 24 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks in 40 minutes. He would go on to shoot 9 for 18 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throws on the night. Their starting small forward, OG Anunoby, would finish with 20 points and 7 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 9 for 15 from the field and 2 for 5 from 3. Their starting shooting guard, their first-time All-Star, Fred VanVleet, would finish with 18 points and 6 assists and 2 blocks in 36 minutes as he would foul out in those 36 minutes. Fred VanVleet shot 7 for 12 from the field and 4 for 7 from 3. Their rookie starting small forward, Scotty Barnes, out of Florida State, would finish with 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists in 32 minutes. He shot 4 for 6 from the field and 7 for 9 from the free throw line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Philadelphia 76ers were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Kentucky, Tyrese Maxey. He finished with 38 points in 38 minutes. He would go on, he'll also add 4 rebounds and 2 assists. He shot 14 for 21 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throws. Their starting power forward, Tobias Harris, finished with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 14 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Their elite starting shooting guard, James Harden, the NBA's leader, or the runner-up in assists per game, would finish with 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 14 assists in 40 minutes. He would go on to shoot 6 for 17 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And then their elite starting center, Joel Embiid, would finish with 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 assists as he had 5 fouls in 37 minutes. This season's scoring champ would shoot 5 for 15 from the field and 9 for 11 from the free throw line. Their shooting guard off the bench, Shake Milton, finished with 10 points in 14 minutes. With this win, the 4-seed Philadelphia 76ers now hold a 1-0 series lead over the 5-seed Toronto Raptors after finishing with 3 more wins in the regular season. Game 2 between these two teams will be tomorrow at 7:30 on TNT. Last but not least, jumping out to San Francisco, the Golden State Warriors would host the Denver Nuggets. The Warriors came in with the 3 seed, and the Nuggets came in with the 6 seed after the Warriors had 5 more wins in the regular season. In Game 1, the Warriors would win it 123-107. They would win this game by 16 after they outscored the Nuggets by 12 in the second quarter and then by 9 in the third. They would outscore the Nuggets by 21 in the middle 2 quarters. On the losing end of this matchup, the Nuggets were led in scoring by the reigning NBA MVP, their elite starting center Nikola Jokic. Jokic would finish with 25 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals in 35 minutes. Their Serbian center would shoot 12 for 25 from the field, and he would make one of his 2 free throws on the night. Their starting small forward, Will Barton, would go on to finish with 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in 36 minutes. He would shoot 10 for 18 from the field. He would go on to shoot 2 for 2 from the foul line as well. And then additionally, alongside them, their starting point guard, Monte Morris, would finish with 10 points, 6 assists, and 4 steals in 31 minutes. Their point guard off the bench, Bones Highland, would finish with 10 points in 17 minutes. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown 3-seeded Golden State Warriors were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Jordan Poole. Their starting shooting guard out of Michigan, their 22-year-old, their first-round pick from 2019, would finish with 30 points in 30 minutes alongside 3 assists. He would shoot 9 for 13 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Their elite starting shooting guard, Klay Thompson, would finish with 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in 29 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field and 5 for 10 from 3. Their all-star starting small forward, Andrew Wiggins, out of Kansas, would finish with 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists in 29 minutes. He shot 6 for 11 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their goated point guard off the bench, Stephen Curry, would finish with 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists in 22 minutes. The NBA's all-time leader in 3-pointers would finish with she finished shooting 5 for 13 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and he made all 3 of his free throws in those 22 minutes. And then their future Hall of Fame starting power forward, Draymond Green, out of Michigan State, would finish with 12 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 blocks in 29 minutes. He shot 5 for 7 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and he made his only free throw on the night. With this win, the 3-seed Golden State Warriors are now holding a 1-0 series lead over the 6-seed Denver Nuggets. Game 2 between these two teams is going to be played tomorrow at 10 o'clock on TNT. As, of course, the Warriors now hold a 1-game advantage. They are 3 wins away from making it to that second round at this very moment. So that is what the NBA is looking like right now that we have all of these matchups from yesterday. Taking a look at what's going on today, there are going to be 4 matchups today as the other game 1s have to get started. First one will be at 1 o'clock on TNT as the 1-seed Miami Heat are going to host the 8-seed Atlanta Hawks after the Atlanta Hawks won their 8-seed game against the Cleveland Cavaliers after they had beat the Charlotte Hornets to make it there in the first place. Of course, Trae Young coming into this matchup was the NBA's leader in points and assists. The Heat would come into this matchup with Jimmy Butler leading the way. Not to mention they had Tyler Hero, the only player who was not a majority starter for the season, who would average 20 points a game this season. The Heat are a very deep team to worry about. At 3:30 on ABC, in TD Garden, it will be game 1 in the Eastern Conference's 2-7 matchup between the 2-seed Boston Celtics and the 7-seed Brooklyn Nets. After the Nets won their 7-seed matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers, that will be a very big matchup. On the Nets side, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are still there. Ben Simmons very well could come at some point in the series, but I'm not sure if he's going to come back right now. On the Celtics side, they're one of few teams in the NBA that had 2 20-point scorers this season. So, of course, this is a matchup to look forward to. At 6:30 on TNT, the third game 1 will be in Pfizer Forum as the defending champs Milwaukee Bucks, led by Giannis Antetokounmpo and their all-star Chris Middleton, will face off against the Chicago Bulls, who are led by 2 all-star players who average at least 20 points a game this season. Their wings from LA, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. And then last but not least, on TNT at 9 o'clock in the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona, the NBA leading Phoenix Suns, the only team that had at least 60 wins this year, are going to host the 8 seed New Orleans Pelicans after the Pelicans were able to beat the Los Angeles Clippers in their 8th-place game just a couple days ago. So that is what the playoffs are looking like now, as half of the teams have already gotten started. The other half have yet to get started. It's going to be a little bit until teams are going to be getting eliminated from this round, but of course it's going to be a great journey. Thanks for sticking around. But taking a look at what's going on in the MLB as of right now, starting off in New York, the Mets would host the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks would go on to beat the Mets 3-2, scoring all 3 of their runs in the 7th inning before the Mets scored their 2 runs in the very next inning. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown New York Mets were led out by Carlos Carrasco. He would allow no earned runs and only 3 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched, as he would strike out 8 and walk 2. The loss would go to the Mets' first relief pitcher on the day, Joely Rodriguez. He would allow 1 earned run off of 1 hit in the 6th inning, and he would strike out 2. With this loss, he's now 0-1. He would allow the first run in the 7th inning before getting subbed out, but he pitched the entire 6th inning fine. But with this loss, he's 0-1 regardless. In the Mets batting lineup, their left fielder Jeff McNeil was the only player with more than 1 hit, as he went 2 for 3 with a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the Arizona Diamondbacks were led by their starting pitcher Zach Gallen. Gallen would allow no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched, as he struck out 2 and walked a batter. The win would go to the Diamondbacks' second relief pitcher, Sean Poppen. He allowed no earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched, as he would get pulled in the 6th inning. With this win, he's now 1-0. The save would go to the Diamondbacks' new closer from the defending champs Atlanta Braves, Mark Melancon. Melancon would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning, as he struck out 2. He played on the Padres between the Braves and the Diamondbacks. But with the save regardless, Mark Melancon has 1 save for 2022. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, their second baseman, Ketel Marte, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their designated hitter, Seth Beer, would end up going 3 for 3 with a run. With this win, the Arizona Diamondbacks are 3-5. That is the worst record in the National League West. They are currently sitting 3 games behind the Colorado Rockies, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the San Francisco Giants, all sitting on top of their division. With this loss, the New York Mets are now 6-3. That is the best record in the National League East still, as they sit a game and a half ahead of the defending champs Atlanta Braves, who hold the second best record in the division. Taking a look at what's going on in Chicago, the Chicago White Sox hosted the Tampa Bay Rays. The White Sox would beat Tampa 3-2. After the Rays scored the first run of the game, the White Sox would take a lead off of a 2-run home run from Jose Abreu. After the Rays would tie the game up in the 6th, Yasmani Grandal's single in the bottom of the 6th would give the White Sox the lead that they would run away with to eventually win the game. On the losing end of this match, the Tampa Bay Rays were led out by their starting pitcher, former Cy Young winner Corey Kluber. Kluber would allow 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in 5 innings pitched, as he struck out 4. The loss would go to the Rays' first relief pitcher, Ryan Thompson. Thompson allowed 1 run in the 6th inning off of 2 hits. With this loss, he's now 1-1. In the Rays batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that would be attributed to great pitching from the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox were led out by their starting pitcher, Michael Kopech. Kopech allowed 1 run off of 1 hit in the 5th inning. He would strike out 5 batters and walk 2. The win would go to the White Sox first relief pitcher, Reynaldo Lopez. Lopez allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 6th inning, as he would go on to strike out a batter. He picked up his first blown save of the year, but with this win, he's now 2-0. The save would go to the White Sox closer, Liam Hendriks. Hendriks would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning, as he would strike out a batter and walk 1, with his save he now has 4 on the year. In the White Sox batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Tim Anderson, went 2 for 4 with a run. Their elite first baseman, Jose Abreu, went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run, as he hit his first home run of the year. Their left fielder, Eloy Jimenez, would go 2 for 4. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are 6-2. That is the best record in the American League Central. They are sitting 2 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Guardians within their division, as they are holding a 2-game winning streak. And with this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 4-5. That is the fourth best record in the American League East, as they've now lost their last 4 games after they were sitting on top. They now are sitting 1 full game behind the division leading New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays at the moment. Jumping out to Toronto, speaking of the Blue Jays, they hosted the Oakland Athletics. The Athletics would end up beating the Blue Jays 7-5 after they scored 5 of their 7 runs in the second and third inning. After the Blue Jays tied it up in the 6th, the Athletics would take the lead in the top of the 9th off of a 2-run home run from their newest outfielder, Christian Pache. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Toronto Blue Jays were led out by their elite starting pitcher, Hyunjin Ryu. Ryu would allow 5 earned runs off of 6 hits in 4 innings as he only struck out a batter. The loss for the Blue Jays would go to their closer, Julian Merryweather. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 2 hits in the 9th inning as he would strike out 3. All 3 of the batters he would get out were via strikeout, but he still allowed a 2-run home run. With this loss, Merryweather is 0-2. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their left fielder Lourdes Gurriel Jr. would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their elite third baseman Matt Chapman would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his second home run of the year. Their designated hitter, Zach Collins, would end up going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the Oakland Athletics were led out by their starting pitcher, Paul Blackburn. Blackburn would allow 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 3 batters. The win would go to the A's relief pitcher, Donny Jimenez. He would allow no earned runs in the 1 inning that he pitched, as he would go on to strike out 3 batters, all batters that he would face in the 8th inning. With his win, he's now 1-0. The save would go to the A's closer, Lou Trevino. Trevino would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out all 3 of the batters that he needed to get out, as well as he walked 1. This is his second save of the year. In the Athletics batting lineup, their catcher, Sean Murphy, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his second home run of the year. Their first baseman in this matchup, Christian Bethancourt, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And with this win, the Oakland Athletics are 5-4. That is the second best record in the AL West, as they are tied with the Los Angeles Angels. They are sitting half a game behind the division leading AL West, as both the Angels and the Athletics just simply have 1 more loss than the Astros. With this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are 5-4. They are tied with the New York Yankees for the best record in the American League East. They and the Yankees sit half a game ahead of the second place Boston Red Sox at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in San Diego, the Padres would host the defending champs Atlanta Braves. The Braves would end up beating the Padres 5-2 after scoring 4 runs in the 4th through 6th innings. After the score was tied at 1, it would be Manny Piña's single that would give the Braves the lead, that would give them the momentum. And he would also have a sacrifice fly to put them up, to give them their 5th run. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown San Diego Padres were led out by their starting pitcher, Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez would allow 4 earned runs off of the 7 hits he allowed in 5 innings. He would strike out 3 batters and walk 4 as he picked up his first loss of the season. He's now 0-1 in 2022. In the Padres batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit, as Jurickson Profar, their left fielder, would go on to hit his 3rd home run of the season. Trent Grisham, their center fielder, hit his 1st home run of the season. Both of the Padres' runs were off of home runs. On the winning end of this matchup, the defending champs Atlanta Braves were led out by their starting pitcher, Ian Anderson. Anderson allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 5.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 7 in that span and walk 1 before he was pulled in the 6th inning. With this win, Ian Anderson is 1-1. The save would go to the Braves closer, Kenley Jansen. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This would be his 2nd save of the year. In the Braves batting lineup, their first baseman, Matt Olson, went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 2nd home run of the year. Their elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, went 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the year. And then their shortstop, Dansby Swanson, would go 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are now 5-5. The defending champs are now holding the 2nd best record in the National League East. They are holding a 2-game win streak as they trail the division-leading New York Mets by 1.5 games. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are also 5-5. They're holding the 4th best record in the National League West as they are on a 2-game losing streak. They are now trailing the division-leading Colorado Rockies, Los Angeles Dodgers, and San Francisco Giants by 2 whole games at the moment. Taking a look at what's going on in Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals hosted the Detroit Tigers. The Royals would end up beating the Tigers 3-1. The score was tied at 1 up until the bottom of the 6th. It would be a 2-run home run from Hunter Dozier to give the Royals this win. On the losing end of this matchup, the Detroit Tigers were led out by their starting pitcher, Matt Manning. He allowed 1 earned run off of 5 hits in the 2 innings that he pitched as he struck out 2 batters. The loss would go to the Tigers' second relief pitcher in this matchup. Will Vest would go on to allow 2 earned runs off of 1 hit in the 6th inning as he would strike out a batter. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Tigers' batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit. That would be attributed to great pitching from the Royals. The Royals were led out by their starting pitcher, Kris Bubic. Bubic would allow 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 4.1 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 6 before he was pulled in the 5th inning. The win was given to the Royals' first relief pitcher on the day, Colin Snyder. Snyder allowed no earned runs as he finished the 5th and pitched the entire 6th inning, and he would allow 1 hit in that span. He would strike out a batter, and with this win, he's now 2-0. The save for the Royals would go to their closer, Josh Staumont. Staumont allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 2. With this win, with a save, that's his first save of the year. In the Royals batting lineup, their third baseman, their rookie Bobby Witt Jr. went 2 for 4 with a run. Their left fielder, Andrew Benintendi, went 2 for 3. Their designated hitter, Hunter Dozier, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his first home run of the season. And that was the home run that put the Royals up. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 3-5. They are tied with the Minnesota Twins for the worst record in the American League Central. They are now trailing the division-leading White Sox by 3 games. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are now 4-5. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central. They trailed the Chicago White Sox by 2.5 games at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Fenway, the Boston Red Sox hosted the Minnesota Twins. The Red Sox would shut the Twins out. They won it 4-0, scoring all of their runs in the 2nd and 3rd innings off of a 2-run home run from Alex Verdugo in the 2nd and a 2-run home run from Xander Bogaerts in the 3rd. On the losing end of this matchup, the Minnesota Twins were led out by their starting pitcher, Sonny Gray. Gray would allow 2 earned runs off of 1 hit in 1.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 1 and walk 1, and with this loss, he's now 0-1 as he got pulled in the 2nd inning. In the Twins batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their left fielder in this matchup, Trevor Larnach. He went 3 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Boston Red Sox were led out by their starting pitcher, Tanner Houck. Houck allowed no earned runs off of 2 hits in 5.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 3, and with this win, he's now 1-0. In the Red Sox batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their elite shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, would go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run, as he would go on to hit his very first home run of the season. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are 4-4. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They've won, or I guess right now, they are sitting half a game behind the division-leading New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays, as they just have one more loss. They have 1 less win than those teams. And with this loss, the Minnesota Twins are now 3-5. That is currently the worst record in the American League Central, as they are tied with the Kansas City Royals. They are currently sitting 3 games behind the division-leading Chicago White Sox at the moment. Jumping out to Cleveland, the Guardians would host the San Francisco Giants. The Giants would end up beating Cleveland 4-2. The score was tied at 2 after the 5th inning, after the Guardians would tie it up off of an RBI double from Miles Straw. It would be a ground-out run forced by Wilmer Flores that would lead to the Giants picking up the win, or picking up that run. But also a wild pitch would lead to their second run of the inning, which would lead to their 2-run win. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Cleveland Guardians were led up by their starting pitcher, Cal Quantrill. Cal Quantrill would allow 2 earned runs off of 2 hits in 4.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and walk out 3 in that span before getting pulled in the 5th inning. The loss would go to the Guardians setup relief pitcher in this matchup, Nick Sandlin. He would allow 2 earned runs off of 2 hits in the 8th inning as he would strike out a batter and walk one as well. With this loss, Sandlin is 0-1 on the 2022 season. In the Guardians batting lineup, their center fielder Miles Straw went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their elite third baseman Jose Ramirez went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Their right fielder in this matchup, Josh Naylor, would go 2 for 3. Their first baseman Owen Miller went 2 for 2 with a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the San Francisco Giants were led out by their starting pitcher Anthony DeSclafani. He would go on to allow 2 earned runs off of 5 hits and 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The win was given to their 4th relief pitcher in this matchup, Dominic Leone. He would allow no earned runs in the 7th inning as he struck out a batter. With his win, he's now 1-0. The save was given to their closer in this matchup, Jake McGee. He would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This would be his very first save of the year. In the Giants batting lineup, their first baseman, Brandon Belt, went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 6-2. That is the best record in the National League West, as they are tied with the Colorado Rockies and the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are all also tied for the best record in the National League at the moment. They are tied with the Chicago White Sox for the best record in all of baseball as well. And the San Francisco 49ers, alongside the Dodgers and the Rockies, are sitting 2 games ahead of the 4th place San Francisco Giants. Or the San Diego Padres, as the San Francisco Giants are holding and sporting a 4-game winning streak. That's the second longest winning streak in the in the National League West or in the entire MLB, as the only team with a longer winning streak is the LA Dodgers, their rivals from within their division. Taking a look at what happened in Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies would beat the Marlins 10-3 after scoring 8 runs in the first 2 innings, 6 in the 2nd inning specifically. Very big matchup for a very big scoring day for Philly. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Miami Marlins were led out by their starting pitcher, Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers would allow 7 earned runs off of 4 hits and 1.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 3 and walk 4 before getting pulled in the 2nd inning. With this loss, he's now 0-2. In the Marlins batting lineup, their third baseman, Brett Anderson, would go 3 for 4, or Brian Anderson went 3 for 4. He was the only player on the team who had more than 1 hit on the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the Philadelphia Phillies were led out by their starting pitcher, Ranger Suarez. Suarez would allow 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He struck out 4 batters and walked 3, and with this win, he's 1-0. In the Phillies batting lineup, their elite left fielder, Nick Castellanos, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Their designated hitter, Alec Bohm, would go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their shortstop, Didi Gregorius, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. And then their center fielder, Matt Vierling, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 4-5. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East. They sit 2 full games behind the division-leading New York Mets. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are now 3-5. That is the worst record in the National League East, as they sit 2.5 games behind the New York Mets as well. Taking a look at what happened in Pittsburgh, the Pirates would host the Washington Nationals. The Pirates would end up beating the Nationals 6-4. The game was relatively close. The Pirates would end up scoring 3 runs in the 8th inning in order to really create that separation. Especially they were able to get 2 runs off of a ground out by Andrew Knapp. On the losing end of this matchup, the Washington Nationals were led out by their starting pitcher, Josh Rogers. Rogers would allow 3 earned runs off of 6 hits and 4.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 2. With this loss, he is now 1-1 in the Nationals batting lineup. Their elite right fielder, Juan Soto, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 3rd home run of the year. Their shortstop, Alcides Escobar, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Pittsburgh Pirates were led out by their starting pitcher, Bryce Wilson. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 4 hits and 4.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 3. The win would go to the Pirates' first relief pitcher, Dylan Peters. Peters would allow no earned runs in the 2 innings that he pitched as he walked 2. With this win, Peters is 2-0. In the Pirates batting lineup, their third baseman, Ke'Bryan Hayes, went 2 for 4 with a run. Their first baseman, Michael Chavis, would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 4-4. They are tied with the Chicago Cubs for the second best record in the National League Central. The Pirates are now sitting a game and a half behind the division leading St. Louis Cardinals. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are 4-6. That is the fourth best record in the National League East. They are sitting 2.5 games behind the division leading New York Mets at the moment. Jumping out to Dallas, the Texas Rangers hosted the LA Angels. The Angels would end up beating the Rangers 7-2. After the Rangers were up about 3-2 for a good chunk of the game, they would score 4 runs in the last 3 innings to, of course, increase their lead and run away with the win. On the losing end of this matchup, the Rangers were led at home by their starting pitcher, Taylor Hearn. Hearn would allow 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in 3.2 innings. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 1 before getting pulled in the 4th inning. With this loss, Hearn is 0-1. In the Rangers batting lineup, their first baseman, Nate Lau, went 3 for 4 on the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the Los Angeles Angels were led out by their starting pitcher, Noah Syndergaard, their newest addition from the Mets. He would allow 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, Noah Syndergaard is 2-0. In the Angels batting lineup, their elite designated hitter and last year, the reigning American League MVP, Shohei Ohtani, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 3 runs, as Ohtani would hit his 3rd home run of the season. Their right fielder in this matchup, Taylor Ward, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his first home run of the year. Their pinch hitting first baseman and former All-Star Jared Walsh went 2 for 2. And then their second baseman, Tyler Wade, would end up going 2 for 4 on the day. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are 5-4. That is the second best record in the AOS as they are tied with the Oakland Athletics. They sit half a game behind the Houston Astros as the Angels are now on a 2-game win streak. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 2-6. That is the worst record in the American League West. They are tied with the Baltimore Orioles for the worst record in the American League total. The only team with the worse record than the Rangers at this very moment is the Cincinnati Reds. But of course, with this loss, they are sitting 3 full games behind the division-leading Houston Astros at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Baltimore, the Orioles would host the New York Yankees. The Yankees would beat the Orioles 5-2. After the Orioles scored the first 2 runs of the game, the Yankees would score 4 runs in the 5th inning, and then they would also score off of a wild run in the 6th to, of course, give them the 3-run lead they needed to run away with. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Baltimore Orioles were led out by their starting pitcher, Tyler Wells. He allowed no earned runs in the 3 innings that he pitched as he would pitch 4 innings. He would strike out 3 batters and walk 2. The loss would go to the Orioles' second relief pitcher, Travis Lakin Sr. He would allow 4 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 1 inning that he pitched. He would blow his very first save of the year, and with this loss, he's now 0-1. In the Orioles batting lineup, their first baseman, Trey Mancini, went 2 for 4. Their left fielder, Austin Hayes, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run on the day. And then on the winning end of this matchup, the New York Yankees were led out by their starting pitcher, Jameson Taillon. Taillon allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win was given to the Yankees' first relief pitcher, J.P. Sears. Sears would allow no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 1 inning that he pitched as he struck out 1. With this win, he's now 1-0. The save was given to the Yankees closer, Clay Holmes. Holmes allowed no earned runs as he finished off the 8th inning and pitched the entire 9th as he would go on to finish with a strikeout. This would be his very first save of the year. In the Yankees batting lineup, their center fielder Aaron Hicks went 2 for 3 with a run. Their third baseman, former American League MVP Josh Donaldson, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his first home run of the year. Their shortstop Isaiah Kiner Falefa went 2 for 4. And then their catcher in this matchup, Jose Trevino, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the New York Yankees are 5-4. They are tied with the Toronto Blue Jays for the best record in the American League East. They both sit half a game ahead of the third-place Boston Red Sox. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are 2-6. That is the worst record in the American League East, and they are tied with the Texas Rangers for the worst record in the American League. They sit 2.5 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays. Taking a look at what happened in Milwaukee, the defending new NL Central champs, Milwaukee Brewers, would host the current NL Central leaders, the St. Louis Cardinals, as the Cardinals would end up beating the Brewers, as yesterday was Nolan Arenado's birthday. Yesterday, Nolan Arenado did turn 31. And in this matchup for his birthday, the Cardinals would end up winning this matchup 2-1, as they would score both their runs before the Brewers would score their alone. On the losing end of this matchup, the Milwaukee Brewers were led by their starting pitcher Adrian Hauser. Hauser would allow 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 5.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 3, and with this loss, Adrian Hauser is 0-2 on the season. In the Brewers batting lineup, nobody on the team would register more than 1 hit, as their catcher Victor Caratini would go 1-for-3 with an RBI and a run. The lone run of the Brewers that they scored was Caratini's first home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the St. Louis Cardinals were led out by their starting pitcher, Steven Matz. Matz would allow no earned runs off of 3 hits in the 5.2 innings he pitched, as he would strike out 6 on the day before getting pulled in the 6th inning. With this win, Steven Matz is 1-1. The save would go to the Cardinals closer, Giovanni Gallegos. Gallegos would allow no earned runs in the 1.1 innings he pitched, as he finished the 8th inning and would pitch the entire 9th. He would pick up a strikeout as well. This would be his second save of the year. And in the Cardinals batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, as they had 8 players with a hit. The only player that didn't get a hit in their lineup was their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. With this win, the Cardinals are now 5-2. That is the best record in the National League Central. And win percentage-wise, only the 3-way tie that's leading the NL West has a better record than the Cardinals do. Cardinals have won their last 2 games. They sit a game and a half ahead of the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are both tied for second place in the division. With this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 4-5. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central, as they've lost their last 2 games. They've lost their last 2 games, and with this, they are sitting 2 full games behind the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals. Jumping out to Denver, the Colorado Rockies hosted the Chicago Cubs. The Rockies would end up beating the Cubs 9-6 after scoring 8 runs from the 3rd through the 5th innings. On the losing end of this matchup, the Chicago Cubs were led out in pitching by their starting pitcher, Mark Leiter Jr. Leiter would allow 7 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 3.1 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 4, and with this loss, he is now 0-1 for the Cubs this year. In the Cubs batting lineup, their second baseman, Jonathan Villar, would end up going 4-for-5 with 3 RBIs. Their right fielder, Seiya Suzuki, would end up going 2-for-3 with 2 runs. Their center fielder in this matchup, Jason Hayward, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. And then their third baseman, Patrick Wisdom, would go 3-for-4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Colorado Rockies were led out by their starting pitcher, Antonio Senzatella. He would allow 1 earned run off of 7 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched, as he struck out 2. With this win, Senzatella is 1-0. And the save would end up going to the Rockies closer, Daniel Bard. He would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. With his save, he now has 4 on the year. In the Rockies batting lineup, their right fielder, Connor Joe, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Their elite designated hitter, Charlie Blackmon, went 2-for-4 with an RBI. Their first baseman, CJ Cron, went 2-for-4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs, as he hit his 4th and 5th home runs of the season yesterday. Their Rockies shortstop in this matchup, Alan Trejo, would end up going 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 6-2. With this win, they are tied with the LA Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants for the best record in the NL West, as the Rockies are sporting a 2-game winning streak. They are sitting 2 games ahead of the San Diego Padres, who are holding the 4th best record in the NL West. And right now, they are holding the best record in the National League. They are tied with the Chicago White Sox for the best record in the MLB as well. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 4-4. They are tied with the Pittsburgh Pirates for the 2nd best record in the National League Central. The Cubs have now lost their last 2 games. They sit a game and a half behind the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Seattle, the Seattle Mariners hosted the defending American League champs, the Houston Astros. The Astros would end up beating the Mariners 4-0, shutting them out, holding the Mariners to only 3 hits all game. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Mariners were led out by their starting pitcher, Chris Flexen. Flexen allowed 3 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 3 batters on the day and walk 1. With this loss, Chris Flexen is 0-2. In the Mariners batting lineup, their first baseman Ty France went 2-for-4 on the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the Houston Astros were led out by their goated starting pitcher Justin Verlander. Verlander would allow no earned runs off of 3 hits in the 8 innings that he pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, Justin Verlander is now 1-1 for the Astros this year. And then in the Astros batting lineup, their designated hitter, Nico Goodrum, would end up going 2-for-4 with a run. Their shortstop in this matchup, Jeremy Pena, would go 3-for-3 with an RBI and 2 runs. With this win, the Houston Astros, the defending American League champs, are now 5-3. They're holding the best record in their division as they sit half a game ahead of the Los Angeles Angels and the Oakland Athletics. But with this loss, the Seattle Mariners are 4-5. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading Houston Astros at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Los Angeles, last but not least, the LA Dodgers would host the Cincinnati Reds and extend the MLB's longest win streak to 5. After they beat the Reds 5-2, they would score 4 of their 5 runs in the 6th inning. As with this loss, the Reds were led out by their starting pitcher, Hunter Greene, who's from Los Angeles. Greene would allow 3 runs off of 5 hits in the 5.1 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters before he got pulled in the 6th inning, and with this loss, Hunter Greene is 1-1. In the Reds batting lineup, their catcher, Tyler Stevenson, would end up going 2-for-5. And then on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown LA Dodgers were led out by their starting pitcher, Julio Urias. Julio Urias would end up allowing no earned runs and only 1 hit in the 5 innings that he pitched, as he would strike out 5. He walked a batter. The win for the Dodgers would go to their first relief pitcher, Evan Phillips. He would allow no earned runs in the 1 inning that he pitched, as he would strike out a batter. With this win, he's now 1-0 for the Dodgers, as the save would go to the Dodgers closer, Daniel Hudson. Daniel Hudson would finish out the 9th inning, as he would allow no earned runs in 0.2 innings, and he would strike out a batter. With this save, that's his first save of the year. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Trey Turner, would go 3-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run, as the reigning National League batting champ would go on to hit a home run, his first of the year. Their elite center fielder and former National League MVP, Cody Bellinger, would go 2-for-3. With this win, the Los Angeles Dodgers are 6-2. They are tied with the Colorado Rockies and the San Francisco Giants for the best record in the National League West. They are tied for the best record in the National League, and they are tied with the Chicago White Sox for the best record in all of baseball at this very moment. They all sit 2 games ahead of the 4th place San Diego Padres right now within their division. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are now 2-7. With a 5-game losing streak, the longest losing streak in baseball, they also hold the worst record in baseball, as they have the most losses in baseball with 7. They are now sitting 4 games behind the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals at the moment, and that is what the MLB is looking like right now, as teams are still within their first 10 games of the year. Taking a look at what's going on today, the first games will be starting at 1. The only primetime game will be at 7 today, as the San Diego Padres, led by their elite starting pitcher from Japan, Yu Darvish, are going to be hosting the defending champs Atlanta Braves, who who are going to be led out by Bryce Elder. That game's going to be on ESPN, as that game's going to be played at Petco Park. Looking at the games that aren't going to be on prime time, at 1:05 in Oriole Park, Bruce Zimmerman and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Nestor Cortez and the New York Yankees. At 1:35 in Fenway Park, Michael Wacha and the Boston Red Sox are going to host Bailey Ober and the Minnesota Twins. Michael Wacha at the moment sporting a 2.08 ERA. At 1:05, Jose Quintana and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host Patrick Corbin in the Washington Nationals. Jose Quintana sporting an 0-1 record and a 1.69 ERA. At 1:37 in Rogers Center, Alek Manoah and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Adam Oller in the Oakland Athletics. Alek Manoah sporting a 1-0 record, as he has led to allow an earned run. At 1:40 in Citi Field, David Peterson and the New York Mets are going to host Humberto Castellanos in the Arizona Diamondbacks, as David Peterson has yet to allow a run this season. At 1:40 in Lone Depot Park in Miami, Elise Hernandez and the Miami Marlins are going to host Zach Wheeler in the Philadelphia Phillies. Zach Wheeler enters his matchup with a 1.93 ERA. At 1:40 on Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, Aaron Savali and the Cleveland Guardians are going to host Alex Wood and the San Francisco Giants. At 2:10, Carlos Hernandez and the Kansas City Royals are going to host Tyler Alexander and the Detroit Tigers. At 2:10, Aaron Ashby and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Dakota Hudson and the St. Louis Cardinals. Aaron Ashby enters his matchup with an 0-1 record, as he has a 1.80 ERA so far. At 2:10 in Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois, Vince Velasquez and the Chicago White Sox are going to host JP Fire Ison and the Tampa Bay Rays. Both pitchers looking for their first win of the season. As Velasquez enters his matchup with a 2.25 ERA. Fire Ison still has yet to allow an earned run this year. At 2:35, Martin Perez and the Texas Rangers are going to host Jose Suarez and the Los Angeles Angels. At 3:10, Austin Gomber and the NL West leading Colorado Rockies are going to host Drew Smyly in the Chicago Cubs, as Drew Smyly has yet to allow an earned run. He has a 1-0 record so far. At 4:10, Andrew Heaney and the LA Dodgers are going to host Tyler Mahle and the Cincinnati Reds. Heaney enters his matchup having yet to allow an earned run. Tyler Mahle comes into this matchup with a 1-0 record, holding a 1 flat ERA. At 4:10 in T-Mobile Park, Matt Brash and the Seattle Mariners are going to host Jose Urquidy and the defending American League champs Houston Astros. Urquidy enters his matchup with a 1-0 record, as he holds a 1.80 ERA. That is what the MLB is looking like as we are navigating through what's going on here within the United States on the continent. Taking a look at what's going on with soccer in Europe, before we get to the domestic leagues, I'm going to get into this English FA Cup semifinal matchup first, as Liverpool was able to beat Manchester City in Man City. Liverpool would score the first 3 goals of the game in the first half. First one would be a header from Ibrahima Konate, and the next 2 would come from their elite Senegalese forward Sadio Mane. Manchester City's first goal will come from their English forward Jack Grealish in the 47th minute, and their second minute will come from their Portuguese midfielder Bernardo Silva, but it wouldn't be enough. With this win, Liverpool is going to advance to the final of the English FA Cup, and of course there's still a semifinal matchup that needs to be played, but of course congratulations to them, as they are still very eligible to get this trophy, as it looks as though the biggest obstacle in their way, that would have been in their way, Man City, is now officially out of their way. Taking a look at what's going on within England within the Premier League context, the top team that was able to compete in the Premier League was Tottenham. Tottenham would face off against Brighton and Hove Albion at home, and after allowing a 90th minute goal, they are still sitting in the 4th spot as they sit 5 points behind third place Chelsea with 2 more matches played than Chelsea. Tottenham sits 3 points ahead of 5th place Manchester United and 6th place Arsenal at the moment. That was a big opportunity for them to win, and they kind of missed out on that. And then looking at that 2-way tie, Arsenal was originally sitting there, and they would end up losing 1-0 to Southampton, as they would give up the 44th minute goal to Jan Bednarik, making sure I got the name right. And then, so right now they are sitting even with Manchester United as they have one less game played than Man U. Looking at what Man U was able to do yesterday, they were able to jump up and tie Arsenal after beating Norwich City, as they would see a hat trick from their goated forward Cristiano Ronaldo, to of course keep Manchester United within the Premier League race, and of course definitely keep them within Champions League contention and get them right back into the hunt next year. But of course, that's what the Premier League is looking like right there, especially out of the games that were played yesterday. Taking a look at what's going on in La Liga right now, the best team that really played yesterday was Villarreal. With a 2-1 win, they were able to jump into that 7th spot as they set a full 6 points out of just simply Europa Conference League champs or qualifiers, as they still have their Champions League ahead of them. Taking a look at what's going on in France, the reigning Ligue 1 champs Lille would fall short to Lyon 2-1, as their lone goal came from Cheka after Lyon scored both their goals. With this loss, the reigning Ligue 1 champs are sitting 8th out of 20 in the French league. They are sitting 5 points from 5th place, and 5th place is currently where the Europa Conference and qualifiers are. Considering they were the reigning champs last year, looking at where they are 11 points out of place for a Champions League qualifying spot, behind 2nd place Marseille. Taking a look at what's going on in Italy, the best team that was really able to play yesterday was 4th place Juventus. Juventus was able to draw with Bologna after Bologna scored the first goal. Juve was at least able to get 1 point after a goal from their forward Dusan Vlahovic in the 95th minute. With this draw, Juventus is still sitting 4th in Serie A. They sit 3 points behind 3rd place Napoli with one more game played than Napoli. With this draw, this also opens the opportunity for 5th place Roma to move a little bit closer. But Juve sits a good 6 points away from Roma, so this picking up the draw is not going to lose them a top 4 spot. Staying within Italy, within Lazio in the Roman capital, Lazio would end up drawing with Torino 1-1, as their lone goal came from their elite Italian striker Ciro Immobile. Lazio is currently sitting with the 7th best record in Serie A. They're sitting even with Fiorentina, the 6th best team in Italy, as Lazio has played one more matchup than Fiorentina at the moment. But Lazio is still very much in that hunt, as they're only 1 point out of 5th place. But that is what Italy is looking like. And then moving up to Germany, last but not least, the team that's currently occupying that 2nd spot, Borussia Dortmund, was able to be via Wolfsburg 6-1, as they were able to score 5 goals between the 24th minute and about the 38th minute within a 15-minute stretch. But of course, with this win, Borussia Dortmund was able to pick up their 2nd win in the table. They sit 6 points behind 1st place Bayern with one more match played in the table. But that is how Borussia Dortmund is currently sitting, and they would get 2 goals from their elite Norwegian striker, Erling Haaland. That is what soccer was looking like following yesterday's matchups. Taking a look at what is going on today within today's matchups. Looking at the other FA Cup semifinal, Chelsea is going to face off against Crystal Palace at 11:30 on ESPN for the opportunity to face off against Liverpool in the FA Cup final. Taking a look at what's going on in the Premier League itself. The big matchup that was supposed to be scheduled was Manchester City, but because of the FA Cup, that game would get postponed. Taking a look at what's going on in La Liga, however, Atletico Madrid is going to be hosting Espanyol at 10:15. Looking at where Atletico Madrid is sitting, they're holding the 4th best record in Spain, as they sit 3 points behind 3rd place Sevilla. Sevilla is going to be hosting Real Madrid at 3 o'clock, as that is going to be a very big matchup in Spain. Sevilla is sitting even with Barcelona with one more matchup played than Barca. Sevilla sits 12 points behind 1st place Real Madrid. A win would actually do a lot of good for Real Madrid here, so this is a must-win matchup for both teams, as Sevilla is also sitting 3 points ahead of 5th place Real Betis, who's still competing for a Champions League spot. So And of course, with Atletico Madrid playing, this is a big opportunity for them to win this matchup if they want to be competing in Champions League next year as well. Moving on to what's going on in France, the French leaders, PSG, are going to be hosting Olympique Marseille. That is going to be a 1-2 matchup in France that we'll see. But Marseille is sitting 12 points behind PSG in the table. But people in France, of course, are going to be looking forward to this. This will be the best Ligue 1 game, it looks like, all year. And with no Serie A games, taking a look at what's going on in Germany, the reigning German champs Bayern Munich are going to face off against Arminia Bielefeld. Bayern is currently holding the best record in the Bundesliga as they sit 6 points ahead of second place Borussia Dortmund with one less game played. With 5 games left in the schedule, a win here would put them 2 wins away from clinching the table and clinching yet another title. I think this would be their 10th if they did it. And then, of course, right behind them, Bayer Leverkusen, the third best team in Germany, is going to be hosting RB Leipzig, the fourth best team. As the third, fourth, and fifth teams in Germany are only separated by a point, this is a must-win for both of these teams, considering the fifth team right outside, Freiburg, has played their matchup, and they are just right outside of Champions League contention. So, of course, there's a lot of pressure sitting right outside there. But that's everything I have for you for today, for Sunday, April 17th. So I want to take this time to thank the ESPN, the NBA, the MLB, the FIFA websites for giving me all the facts and figures that I needed. I do hope all is well, and once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Monday, April 18th for another episode of The Elite. So until then, I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well, and I will catch you with another piece tomorrow. Thanks for listening, and peace out. I really enjoy doing this every single day, and I really hope you guys do too. I do apologize for butchering the names as well. I do plan on getting better with them, but like I said, thanks for following along, and I will be back tomorrow on Monday, April 18th with more once today's episodes are done. I'm James Sims. This is The Elite. Thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Peace out.